Hello there, my friends. Derek from Bomb Socks here with another episode of Bomb Bites, feasting upon the words of Christ, one amazing bite at a time. So this is kind of a bonus episode. I normally don't do one on Sunday, but today what I wanted to do is I have my 8 little lessons about the battle strategies, and so many of you have asked me, hey, can you list the other ones? Because we only got to 3 of them. If you look at this list here, there's 8 of them here, and we got to Extreme Makeover Battle Edition, we got to the How to Be Happy, and then we got to the Fix It Felix one where it says how to avoid this guy right here. So you go back to those 3. That's what we did the last 3 days. So I need to focus on the other 5. Now, my goal has always been to keep these bomb bites under 10 minutes. So if I'm going to do that, I still have 5 of these to do. That means I got to keep these each about a minute and a half or so. So wish me luck. The goal is to just give you guys a little bit of a taste of this, and then you can feel free to expound on them in your own studies or as a family, however you want to do that. So good luck. Here we go. We're going to jump right to the one where it says, ladies, here's your man. We're obviously talking about Chief Captain Moroni. I love this picture that was done right here. This particular picture of Moroni is on our bomb socks. So we love this particular picture of Moroni. So ladies, how would you like to have a man? And here's the verses right here that really explain a lot about Captain Moroni. You want to talk about qualities of a good spouse. I mean, ladies, when you get into these verses, you just kind of start scrolling through here. You got a man who is of perfect understanding. What woman does not want a man who's got perfect understanding, right? He goes forth with the cause of Christians. His heart swelled with thanksgiving to his God. He was firm in the faith of Christ. He was never to give an offense. He was so faithful. And then you get to that iconic verse in verse 17 that says, if all men had been, were, and ever would be like unto Moroni, the very foundations of hell would be shaken forever, and the devil would never have power over the hearts of the children of men. Love that verse. That almost makes it sound like he is an unattainable being. And there's guys out there going, yeah, there's no way I can hold a candle to this guy. So ladies and guys both, let me give you one of the qualities of Moroni that I think is the most important one, because you can't teach verse 17 without teaching verses 18 and 19, where it talks about he was a man like unto Ammon, the son of Mosiah, and also the other sons of Mosiah. Behold, they were all men of God. And then you get to verse 19. Helaman and his brethren were no less serviceable. Part of Helaman's brethren is also Corianton. So you remember, one of the great qualities of someone like Moroni is a repentant person. One of the best things you can do is to repent every single day. So brethren, if you're sitting there thinking there's no way I can hold a candle to Moroni, yep, neither can I. No one can. That's why repentance is such a key element. And ladies, make sure the most important quality you are looking for, or that you look to in your current spouse, is a repentant person, one who's willing to make those changes. That's your guy. I love Captain Moroni for that very reason. So there's that first one. Next one. Okay, the next one we're going to do is Come On Down. If you're a fan of The Price is Right, you'll appreciate this. So we got to go to this guy right here. Oh, this man. Oh, this guy. Amalickiah, I believe, is one of the worst bad guys in the entire Book of Mormon. I believe that. You go to this verse right here, Alma 46, verse 9, where it says, we see the great wickedness that one very wicked man can cause to take place among the children of men. So you've got this story here in Alma 46, verses 3 and 4, and Alma 47, 1 through 20. It's actually a pretty well-known story. There's conference talks that have been given about this one. I've heard it referred to as the Lahontai principle. But you've got Amalickiah, whose goal is to become the king of the Lamanites. The question is, how does a Nephite become king of the Lamanites? Well, you got this gentleman named Lahontai, who's one of the Lamanite leaders, and he promised he would not come down. He's fixed with a determined resolution to not come down off of this mountain. And so you got Amalickiah, who with his armies tries to get him to come down 3 times, and he won't come down. But on the 4th time, he says, I want you to come down a little bit more, and I'll meet you halfway. And then Lahontai goes down. So what you've got is you've got to hold your ground and not come down when Satan tries to get you to come down. Never come down and meet Satan on his terms. You stay firm. So that's one of those. Come on down. Do not come on down and meet Satan where he can get to you. What happened to Lahontai is he was poisoned by degrees by Amalickiah, and then Amalickiah was able to become king of the Lamanites. It's a great story with a tragic ending, but it helps us understand how we need to stay firm where we are at. So that's lesson number 2. Number 3, All right, let's go to, and the gold medal in the Javelin goes to. So the one that I want to focus on here, many of you know this guy right here, he is very much like the special forces of the Book of Mormon. His name is Teancum right there. I picture him being the guy who's running in and snapping people's necks while he's doing cartwheels. He's kind of like the Jason Bourne of the Book of Mormon, or the Chuck Norris. He's just this tough guy. Well, in this battle, if you look at these verses up here in chapter 51, and then at the end of, or right at the beginning of 52, you got Teancum, who is just, I'm done with this guy Malachi. And he goes in, he sneaks in, and I'm just trying to picture him doing this. He goes in there and he stole privily into the tent of the king, and he put a javelin to his heart, and he did cause the death of the king immediately, and he did not awake his servants. And then he caused his armies to stand in readiness, lest the Lamanites had awakened and should come upon him. And then in chapter 52, verse 1, it says Teancum was ready to give them battle. When they woke up and they were just like, Amalekite is dead. And Teancum's like, that is right. We are ready to take you guys right now. So the cool gospel principle here, we must evict the enemy now with a sense of urgency. There's things in our lives that are the Amalekias that we need to just stab in the heart and get up. Maybe it's a pornography addiction. Maybe it's what I've heard someone refer to as a bad friendectomy. You get rid of bad friends that are toxic to you, habits that are inappropriate, or just whatever it is that's keeping you from moving forward. Amalickiah was a constant thorn in the side of the Nephites, and Teancum was like, we're not going to take it anymore. So he goes in there and he just javelin right to the heart. That's what we have to do. We evict that enemy, whatever it is, and we do it quickly with a sense of urgency. So that's lesson number 3. Here's number 4. Okay, so here's lesson number 4. You have got never pick on the small guy. So go to chapter 52, and you're going to look at verses 19 to 32. This is a cool little story here. Like, one thing to keep in mind is the city of Mulek used to be a Nephite stronghold, and the Lamanites have it right now. So the goal is Moroni gets all their armies together and holds a council of war and tries to figure out how to flatter them out of their strongholds. That's a cool little statement there. So that they might gain advantage over them and take again the city of Mulek. So what happens is, here's Moroni. He shows up and he goes to a man by the name of Jacob. Now, you got Moroni, again, keeping in mind that the goal is to get them out of the city of Mulek. So he says, come out and fight. And Jacob's like, no. And so remember, the goal is to decoy them out of their stronghold. So what do? You get Teancum, and you get Teancum and a few of his men who come up to Jacob, and they're just like, ha, 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 come and get us. And so Teancum and his army just get out of there like crazy, and all of a sudden what happens is the Jacob and his people are just like, hey, look at Nephite, let's go get him. And so what happens? They run out of the city. It's the oldest trick in the book. And so what happens? The city is now vacant. What happens? Moroni sends men into the city, and they take over the city. And then all of a sudden these guys are like, wait a minute. And here comes Lehi. Lehi, hi. And then so Lehi starts chasing after them, and they are running to go back after their city. And who meets them? Moroni meets them right here. And then you've got Lehi comes in from here. Remember Teancum? He comes in right here. And then you got a battle that takes place. And what happens is Jacob just goes, dang it, they got us. But a cool element here is the enemy is always going to try to get you decoyed and flattered out of your strongholds. It's very similar to the come on down principle. You'll notice that a lot of these principles in the war chapters are very similar. A lot of it is about staying firm in your strongholds where you are, and do not deviate, do not go to where you should not go to. You stay where you are supposed to be. You stay in your places of security and safety. So anyway, that's a cool little lesson right there. Now let's go to lesson number 5. All right, so here is the last lesson here. The picture of the one person standing up in the midst of many. You know, I read to you earlier about how one wicked man, being Amalickiah, was able to do so many bad things to really affect a lot of people. One good man can really do a lot, and it's this guy right here. You got Moroni. This is Moroni praying as he has got the title of liberty. what a great lesson as you go through these verses. The Alma 46, 11 through 21 talk about him raising the title of liberty, which says, in memory of our God, our religion, and our freedom, and our peace, our wives, our children, and he fastened it upon a pole. I love how whenever there's a proclamation from a prophet, and Moroni very much was prophetic in how he did this. We have these proclamations. You've got the proclamation of the word on the family. You've got the living Christ. You have got the latest one with the restoration that President Nelson just gave. These are proclamations. These are like modern day titles of liberty. It really starts helping us focus on what it calls in verse 16, the cause of the Christians. You know, we've got so many causes right now, and I'm not trying to get into all of them. One cause I really believe will affect every other cause out there is focusing on the cause of Christ. And as you focus on the cause of Christ and really work on men's hearts, then all of these other ones, which still have importance, I'm not trying to devalue them, but the one that's really going to make the biggest difference is the cause of the Christians. And I love how Moroni did that. So good to stand up for what he did. And what happens? So when one person stands up courageously for their beliefs, they can empower others to do the same. There's been a lot of stories. You even look in the news lately, there's been stories about that. So the question that you can focus on is when was a time that you stood up for what you believed, or you were grateful that someone else did, and it helped empower you? Because you get down to verse number 29, he sees how the people were fearful. And I get that. So what does he do? He causes it to be raised up so everybody can see it. And then you go down to verse number 36, it came to pass that he caused the title of liberty to be hoisted upon every tower which was in the land, which was possessed by the Nephites, and thus Moroni had planted the standard of liberty among the Nephites. I love how every home, I believe, needs to have a title of liberty. And I'll let you guys figure out what that is. Maybe it's the family proclamation. Maybe it's the living Christ. Maybe it's the restoration proclamation that President Nelson focused on. Maybe it's something that you and your family, even pictures of the temple, whatever it is, can be standards that you can hold up in your family. But when one man steps forward and does it, he causes others to gain courage. There's our 5 lessons. Oh, I hope you guys appreciated those. There's a lot in there, and that was quick, I know. And we did our best to keep it with a good time there. I love these war chapters, and I love the stories that are in them. So excited to share them with you. Now, next week, we got more war chapters with amazing young men who changed the lives of so many individuals. So anyway, thanks guys. You have an amazing day. Thanks for enjoying our bonus episode today. And you guys take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.